Coming up, a new announcement sent shockwaves through campus, how extending the red zone has affected our campus community.
And new developments on the TikTok deal have emerged. Stick around and find out who may be involved.
All this and more right now on Newswave.
Good afternoon and happy Friday. Today is Friday, September 26th. I'm Odalis Caballero.
And I'm Emma Holcomb. Last Monday, an announcement from the Associate Dean of Students, Ben Williams, was sent to members of the fraternity and sorority life community, stating that the dry recruitment period, also known as the red zone, will be extended to January 30th. It was later clarified that this rule specifically applies to recruitment events, even though the original email stated that all potential new members could not attend any event with alcohol. This announcement came as a shock to the campus community, with the Trinitonian reporting that 74% of the survey's respondents thought the announcement was unexpected. Students began to fight back on this extension, with one, quote, concerned student creating a petition, and another student, senior John Ferretti, sending out an email asking for clarification from the Dean of Students office, Ben Williams, and Dean of Students, Jessica Adonik, told the Trinitonian that their goal was to shift the focus from alcohol to members' leadership and work on campus. However, they received a lot of backlash to an almost extreme level, with Williams receiving threatening phone calls, derogatory fizz posts made about him, and even his car being keyed. Despite this, Dean Adonik encourages student discourse, saying, quote, "We've absolutely committed to hearing students, to talking in their feedback and having dialogue and discourse with them," end quote. More clarification and guidance on the rules will be provided in the coming weeks. We here at Newswave will be sure to keep you updated.
Trinity University has changed the meal plan structure from previous semesters. According to the Trinitonian, the previous system had 4 options for students, with 1 reserved for juniors and seniors. Now there are only 3 options, all of which are more expensive and have fewer bonus bucks or reduced swipes compared to last semester. However, the increase in price is not without reason. Chartwell's marketing manager, Kristen Alderete, referenced improvements to Trinity Dining, saying, quote, "In Maybe Dining Hall, we've added the blends and bowls stations, the station barbecue, and the made-to-order grill station, and brand new smokers. On the retail side, we've added the menu at Legends Burger Co." End quote. Despite the improvements, some members of the student body are still concerned with the state of Trinity Dining. Junior business major Fase Murgasamy said, quote, "That's real money coming out that you're losing. You're not getting your worth and you aren't able to get your proper nutrition," end quote. With these things in mind, it's important to consider which meal plan is right for you and to understand the options available.
Trinity alumnus and storied Major League Baseball manager Davey Johnson passed away on Friday, September 5th at the age of 82. Johnson graduated from Trinity with a mathematics degree in 1964 and began his playing career with the Baltimore Orioles in 1965. During his playing career, Johnson used his mathematical and statistical education to teach himself computer programming, becoming one of the first proponents of sabermetrics in baseball, which laid the groundwork for what is now called Moneyball. Johnson played in the MLB for 13 years, making 4 All-Star teams and hitting 136 home runs. After he retired from playing baseball, he was hired as the manager of the New York Mets, where he applied his statistical models and led the Mets to win the World Series in 1986. In all, Johnson would manage for 17 seasons with 5 different teams and accumulate over 1,300 wins, putting him among the most successful managers in baseball history.
Coming up, the scoop on the fall weather should arrive from Chief Meteorologist.
And headlines from across the state of Texas.
Stick around, we'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love Love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our everyday.
Welcome back to Newswave. On September 19th, 2025, Texas A&M President Mark A. Welsh III resigned. This comes after backlash over student complaints with children's lecture class. A student recorded course professor Melissa McColl teaching a class discussing their current reading, which was a non-binary protagonist. The student cited President Trump saying that it was illegal to be teaching more than 2 genders. Student complaints occurred during the summer course, which was subsequently canceled. McColl resumed teaching, and the same fall, the video was posted on social media, which led to a larger discourse and McColl being fired. The Texas Tribune said, quote, "Currently, no state or federal law bans college faculty from teaching about race, gender, or sexuality," end quote. McColl has appealed her firing and requested a public hearing in front of a committee of her peers.
This past Monday marked the first official day of fall, but will we be able to break out our sweaters anytime soon? Newswave's chief meteorologist, Luke Morton, has your answers.
Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome back to Newswave. I hope you all had a great week, and let's get straight into the weather. Today brings a lot less humid weather than we saw earlier this week, but it is still toasty out there. Although a bit warm, this weekend looks great. Saturday and Sunday, we'll see mostly sunny skies with highs in the mid-90s and lows in the upper 60s, so plan your outdoor activities with confidence. The mornings and evenings should be great with low humidity and pleasant temperatures. Next week will be a bit of a rinse and repeat. The weather is expected to be mostly sunny with highs in the low 90s and lows in the upper 60s to low 70s. It will be plenty warm for the next week with little rain in sight. Be sure to stay hydrated and wear sunscreen if you're outside for a while. And unfortunately, to those who are craving true fall, they might have to wait a bit longer. But I promise it'll get there eventually. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.
Late night aired last week after its titular host commented during the monologue about his Republican response of the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Kimmel denounced Republicans for, quote, "desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them," and said that Republicans were trying to score political points from the killing. Following a threat by FCC Chair Brendan Carr to take away ABC's broadcast license, the network pulled Kimmel's show from the air. Several conservative voices spoke up in support of Carr's threat to ABC, but one surprising voice in defense of Kimmel was Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Cruz condemned Carr, saying that his decision to threaten ABC's broadcast license was, quote, "dangerous as hell," end quote. Cruz still condemned Kimmel's comments and celebrated that this show was taken off the air, but felt that the FCC chair involvement is in getting the show pulled off the air sets a dangerous precedent that the future Democratic administration could exploit to silence conservative voices. Cruz's comments on the situation are especially relevant because he chairs the Senate Commerce Committee, which oversees the FCC, but Cruz has not made an indication that he would use his position to take any action on the controversy.
Taco Cabana, a San Antonio-based chain, held its first World Taco Eating Championship last Saturday. The competition was held at the Taco Cabana location on 1253 Austin Highway. Competitive eaters such as Miko Sudo, Jeffrey Esper, and James Weber fought for the new records as they scarfed down tacos. During the competition, Sudo and Webb managed to get the Guinness World Record by each eating 8 tacos in 1 minute. In the end, Esper won the competition overall, eating a total of 51 bean and cheese tacos.
Coming up, more information about the changing job market and talk show host makes his return. We'll be right back after this short message.
Get a life in which you're generous. Realize that life is the best thing ever and that you have no business taking it for granted. Care so deeply about its goodness that you want to spread it around. Once in a while, work in a soup kitchen, be a big brother or a big sister. All of us want to do well, but if we do not do good too, then doing well will never be enough.
On September 21st, a memorial service in Glendale, Arizona was held in remembrance of Charlie Kirk. The memorial service hosted conservative speakers, many of whom cited Kirk as a martyr in conjunction with his Christian beliefs. Headlining the event, President Donald Trump called Kirk, quote, a missionary with a noble spirit and great purpose, promising to reward him the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Erica Kirk, wife of Charlie Kirk, delivered a speech where she recounts seeing her husband's body and the comfort of knowing that he did not suffer. During the speech, she publicly forgave the assassin as her husband, quote, wanted to save young men just like the one who took his life. Erica Kirk asserted that Charlie Kirk, quote, died with incomplete work but not with unfinished business, end quote. She has vowed to continue his work, becoming the CEO and chair of Turning Point USA. The service was attended by tens of thousands, uniting conservative supporters and high-profile officials alike to reflect upon Kirk's legacy.
As the semester ramps up, it's important to take breaks and treat yourself. Newswave reporter Kate Klein takes us to a unique spot here in San Antonio that opened in the spring that may satisfy your sweet tooth. Take a look.
Hey everyone, it's Kate here today with local finds at Moulala Ice Cream Shop. Moulala is owned and operated by Chef Hilda Villaseñor, who comes from a family of ice cream creators from Guadalajara, Mexico, where generations of her family have been developing unique recipes, and I could not be more excited to be here today with owner Hilda to ask some questions and see what's going on. Alrighty, Hilda, could you please share some more about your family's history with frozen treats and how these traditions influence the flavors and techniques used at Moulala?
Yes, thank you. Thanks for being here. Well, it's a lovely history. My grandfather started this business just for love. He was his main idea at the beginning because he wanted to create a business for the people in the little town, Tocumbo, Michoacán. It's a little town in Mexico. And what he wants is to create something for the people of his town. So he created this business in Mexico City. He was the first ice cream shop.
Oh my.
Yes, it was the first one, like around 1948. And since that time, all my family, all my friends, we are working in this business.
What would you say your future collaborations are with some businesses maybe in the area or just around the city?
Yes, for sure. We are planning to collaborate with some restaurants and maybe some bakeries and coffee shops.
Yeah.
For example, with restaurants, we are planning to have like special flavors for the restaurants. Maybe the chefs can ask me for a special flavor for the restaurant. Well, I used to do that in Guadalajara.
Nice.
With some restaurants. They ask me for special flavors like burnt tortilla, like dragon fruit with mezcal. I don't know, like crazy flavors, or not crazy flavors, like special flavors for them.
And then are there any particular ice cream flavors or gelato flavors you currently offer that you would say hold some sort of significance in your life or your family's?
Well, I believe that maybe tamarind.
Okay.
I love tamarind.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean nothing special for my family.
You just like the flavor.
I just love the flavor. Yes.
Yes.
It's very well for me.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then I know you do like coffee as well. So do you have any particular pairing recommendations for like maybe an espresso with a coffee or any specific pairings that people should try?
Yes. I believe that affogato,
Okay.
the people should try it because you will have the perfect gelato and the perfect coffee together.
Yes. And does the ice cream, like the gelato, melt kind of in the coffee? I've never had one before, so I don't know.
Well, the affogato is just a scoop of ice cream, and normally it's with the milk cream ice cream,
Okay.
and we add a espresso.
Okay, a shot of espresso.
Yeah, a shot of espresso, and it's is amazing. And we already create a new one, a new beverage, and it's gelato. Ooh. And it's like a normal iced latte, but with gelato.
Oh, wow.
And it's fantastic.
Okay. Thank you so much. And you said you really like tamarind. Do you have any other favorite flavors before we finish up?
Yes, for sure. Pistachio.
Oh, that's my favorite. Yeah.
Pistachio is amazing. I will recommend that pistachio. I think that pistachio is one of my favorites.
Me too. All right. Thank you so much, Hilda.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
IBM Vice Chair and former Trump administration official Gary Cohn stated on Sunday that the job market is degrading, a situation he hopes is only temporary. The former National Economic Council director noted that companies are cutting labor costs to maintain profits in a difficult economic environment, with the rising input costs. The Federal Reserve recently lowered its benchmark interest rate amid a slowing labor market. The move by the Federal Reserve is a signal that a stalling labor market is a more pressing concern than rising inflation. Cohn says, quote, "The Federal Reserve itself and the Board of Governors admitted that we are having a declining job market. This comes after President Trump fired a former Bureau of Labor Statistics commissioner last month after disappointing job reports." According to Cohn, the decline is not specific to one industry and is happening, quote, "across the board. This economic shift has moved companies from a, quote, hoarding labor mentality to aggressively managing expenses with labor being the key lever they can pull." We here at Newswave will keep you updated.
This week, ABC's late-night comedy show Jimmy Kimmel Live returned from a suspension imposed by the network. The show's host, Jimmy Kimmel, was originally suspended due to a joke he made in reference to the Republican Party and the murder of Charlie Kirk. According to CNN, the show's return netted 6.3 million viewers and did particularly well among 18 to 49 viewers. This is significant because of the importance advertised placed on that demographic. On top of the show's television rating, Kimmel's opening monologue, largely about the importance of preserving free speech, has received 15 million views on YouTube, with that number continuing to rise. Now that focus shifts on what the FCC's response will be, as the chairman, Brendan Carr, hinted that repercussions will come if ABC did not cancel the show. Newswave will continue to keep you updated as the situation unfolds.
Still ahead, we have the scoop on Trinity sports and more worldwide headlines. Stick around, we'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
On Sunday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed a response to countries that recognize a Palestinian state. According to CNN, Netanyahu stated the international community will hear from Israel on the matter shortly, which is a possible reference to the talks that will take place regarding the currently occupied West Bank. Before those talks, Netanyahu will meet with President Donald Trump, as without the U.S. backing, Israel has few options to respond. It seems Israel has very little inclination to let up on Gaza. It is far-right allies are calling for them to fully annex the West Bank. Even though this idea has upset the number of Western communities, Netanyahu believes that the only backing he needs is that of the U.S. As of now, the world waits for Netanyahu's remark on what he will do next.
And now, an update on Trinity Sports from our sports editor, Ian Strang.
Men's tennis started their season last weekend at home with the Trinity Invitational. Junior Ethan Flores and sophomore Roisin Kamath secured the doubles championship for what should be a good start to a promising season. Up in Hillsborough, Texas, cross country's non-travel squads race tonight at the Hill College Cross Country Classic. The following week, their travel squads will fly to Kentucky to race at the Louisville Classic. Women's soccer played at home this weekend against Concordia and TLU. Both matches ended in victories for the Tigers, with a 4-0 victory over the Tornadoes and a 3-1 victory over the Bulldogs. They traveled to Mary Hardin Baylor this Saturday for the final matchup before conference play. Football, 3-0, beat Pacific Lutheran University in Puyallup, Washington, 45-8. Sophomore kicker Hayden Rhodes nailed a 48-yard field goal to earn SAA Special Teams Athlete of the Week and tie for fourth longest field goal in school history. This win moves them up in the rankings to number 22, making them the highest-ranking SAA school ahead of number 25 Barry, who went down 5 spots after the loss to Carnegie Mellon. The Tigers will host Southwestern in 2 weeks to begin their conference schedule. Men's golf, ranked 12th nationally, finished 17th at the NCAA Fall Previews in Howey in the Hills, Florida. They return to the greens in 2 weeks to host the Carla Spekonk Invitational. Volleyball hosted and swept SAA teams Center, Rhodes, and number 15 Barry. Senior Reagan Watley scored 47 points over the weekend with just 6 errors in 90 attacks, earning SAA Offensive Athlete of the Week. For their sweep, the Tigers move up 4 spots to number 12 in the AVCA polls. Tigers volleyball continues conference play this weekend in Mount Berry, Georgia, to face Oglethorpe, Suwanee, and Millsaps. Number 11, women's tennis, is competing in Abilene, Texas at the ITA Southwest Regional Championships right now. Senior Trinity Levy looks to win her first singles championship after making it to the finals the past 3 years. Men's soccer played in Abilene, Texas last weekend against Hardin Simmons and number 20 Christopher Newport University. The Tigers won 2-0 against Hardin Simmons, but suffered a narrow loss against Christopher Newport Captains, dropping one spot in the rankings to number 5. The boys return to the Paul this weekend to face against the Banana Slugs of UC Santa Cruz, whom the Tigers are 7-1 against. That's all I have for this week. Be sure to tune in next week for more sports updates.
More news about the upcoming TikTok deal is coming to light as President Donald Trump signed an executive order just yesterday to share his plans on selling the Chinese-owned app. According to Reuters, the U.S. company will be valued at $14 billion, which is far less than it is predicted to be worth. Vice President J.D. Vance spoke about the deal on Thursday, saying, quote, "There was some resistance on the Chinese side, but the fundamental thing that we wanted to accomplish is that we wanted to keep TikTok operating, but we also wanted to make sure that we protected Americans' data privacy as required by law." President Trump has also indicated that the Chinese President Xi Jinping had approved the plan. Along with that, Trump has announced that Michael Dell, CEO of Dell Technologies, and Rupert Murdoch, Chairman Emeritus of Fox Corporation, will be investors in the deal, among others. These investors, along with technology company Oracle, plan to make a 50% stake in TikTok. As more details about this deal unfold, we will be sure to keep you updated.
Russia has been accused of trying to interfere with Moldova's upcoming elections. Moldovan President Maia Sandu told reporters that Russia was involved in an unprecedented campaign, which includes party financing, cyber attacks, and disinformation campaigns. Al Jazeera reports that this past week, Moldovan authorities have arrested more than 74 individuals tied to Russia on charges of election interference. Investigative journalists from the BBC found that Moldovan citizens were being offered money from Russian bank PSB, which is owned by the Russian Defense Ministry, in exchange for posting pro-Russian messages on social media. Reports of Russia interference come on the back of increased Russian pressure against Moldova, which shares a 1,222-mile border with Ukraine, most of which is occupied by a Kremlin-backed breakaway state called Transnistria. Earlier this year, Moldovan intelligence reported that the Kremlin was seeking to station up to 10,000 troops inside of Transnistria in an attempt to threaten western parts of Ukraine. This may be feasible if the pro-Russian Patriotic Electoral Bloc manages the defeat of incumbent pro-EU Party of Action and Solidarity. Moldovan Selection Day is scheduled for this Sunday, September 28th.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today.
Be sure to tune in to our next broadcast next Friday at 3 p.m. I'm Modelis Caballero.
And I'm Emma Holcomb. Have a great weekend.